A very good evening and welcome to Salt Television News. My name is Ifoma Chris. First, the headlines. Governor Nwifuru calls on Federal Ministry of Information to work towards curtailing publication of fake news on social media. Federal government increases monthly pension of retired federal government workers. Men rebel group in Democratic Republic of Congo backs out of peace talk with government. Now, the detail of the news. Governor Francis Nwifuru has called on Federal Ministry of Information and Orientation to diligently work towards controlling handlers of social media on publication of fake news and unfounded rumors, as such has contributed immensely in destroying the nation. He made the call when he received in audience a federal government delegation on a citizens' engagement tour of the Southeast, led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at the Executive Council Chambers or Chudo Centenary City, Abakaliki. Government House correspondent Osondo Nguta has the detail.
Governor Nwifuru, who described the Renewed Hope Development Program of the federal government as an initiative designed to advance inclusive development across all parts of the country, called on Nigerian youths to leverage on opportunities provided by the program to better their living rather than spending greater part of their time on social media on constructive criticism. The governor, who commended President Bola Tinubu for his impactful governance, noted that it is under his administration that the state has received federal government attention for the first time since the democratic governance in the country. He highlighted several achievements the state had witnessed in all sectors under all progressive congresses and assured President Bola Tinubu of the continued support of the people of the state.
Anywhere you face, we see projects. That's not where somebody comes to the national television to showcase what he's doing and shows the person is doing something like that. I'm not working for the national television. I'm working for everybody. Everybody in this is working. We have our assignments. We are discharging it effectively. And that is why you see peace everywhere. They talk about it at home. You cannot be about it at home here. Nobody knows that that is an existence. If you are not seeing development, if you are not seeing peace, if you are not seeing relationship here in the then tell me which other place. This is the only place that, since I became governor, we have never recorded even one kidnapping case. So, we are very grateful to God and to Mr. President for giving us very right people to work with. We are very welcome to our guest and we are very grateful to welcome you. By the grace of God, you will supervise all the projects, you will inspect all the projects, you will expose everyone to the world, and let everybody see what is going on in the world. By the grace of God. And I believe it will be amazing.
The governor also decried that Ebonyi is the only state that have not benefited from the 330 kVA line of the federal government power project and appealed to the Minister of Power to come to the rescue of the state to reverse the ugly trend. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, emphasized that Tinubu's administration is committed to ensuring that no region is left behind in Nigeria's developmental drive, noted that expansion of businesses, e-commerce, enhanced healthcare service delivery being facilitated by the Renewed Hope agenda is a proof that President Tinubu's policies are translating into real benefits for the people.
We know that in the last 4 decades, all successive political leaders in this country are desirous of doing that, but somehow we are unable to do that. But there's a moral habit because they believe that that necessary foundation to put Nigeria back on a solid footing towards the journey, ensuring that Nigeria returns to the prosperity that our founding fathers started this country. Today, not only is the federal government able to save so much money to execute so many projects, but the state government, including the Ebonyi state here, is also getting resources, and we are seeing it in what is necessary from the first ensuring that these resources are being put in roads, they are being put in schools, they are being put in industries are also being put in the healthcare sector to ensure that the people of the Ebonyi State benefit from the reform agenda of Mr. President. And we want to thank you that Mr. President has told us that you are one of those levels that have consistently told your people and told Nigerians the benefit that these reforms have brought to the people of Nigeria.
The country visit was preceded by inspection of both state and federal government projects within the state. Osondo Nguta, Salt TV News.
In continuation of their oversight functions to development centers, members of Local Government Advisory Committee, Ebonyi State, have visited development centers in Ishelu local government area to ensure effective service delivery and accountability. Charles Ole covered the event.
Among the development centers visited in Ishelu include Ishelu East, Ezekoma, Ishelu West, and Ishelu North. The chairman, Local Government Advisory Committee, Ebonyi State, Mr. Oliver Mbam, observed that no single staff was seen at Ishelu East and Ezekoma development centers, while in Ishelu West, only 18 staff were physically seen out of 57 total workforce, while in Ishelu North, only 20 workers were present out of 65 total workforce.
How can you be paid your salary without coming work? That coordinator testified that he has tried his best or her best for their staff to be coming work, but all of them refused, even the principal officers.
Members of the team, Mr. Ikeburu Opuchuku and Mr. Anthony Nkama, frowned at the high rate of absenteeism to work among the workers across the 64 development centers in the state and the disturbing dimension of the center's working environment overgrown with waste.
It's very bad, but the coordinator gave reasons for their absence, which is well noted. But I will commend both the Ishelu West Development Coordinator and the Ishelu North. I commend them very well. I commend them. They are doing a great job.
These are public funds, and these development centers, based on the experience we've had of the previous ones we visited, it looks as if these development centers have stopped being what it's supposed to be. It has now turned to centers of siphoning public funds.
The coordinators of all the development centers visited, including coordinator of Ishelu East, Mr. Uche Chukwu Alo, coordinator of Ezekoma, Mrs. Chinasa Nwankwo, coordinator of Ishelu West, Mr. Chukwuemeka Ali, and that of Ishelu North, Mr. Emeka Odanwu, were on ground to show their executed projects.
And they are on inspection to see project sites and the inspection of staff relationship with coordinators and political appointees with the coordinator to know the welfare of workers.
If you know that if you are a coordinator and you know that you have put in something on grounds, you have to stay and welcome them. Take them around to your project sites. Show them so that they will take the message back to His Excellency.
According to the committee, most of the development centers have become comatose despite having salary-earning workers and coordinators assigned to them. Charles.
All retired federal employees under the contributory pension scheme are soon to start receiving a 32,000 monthly pension increase. The sum will be paid to each of them from 758 billion naira bond approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for clearing all outstanding pension liabilities. The report.
President Tinubu okayed the bond to ensure that the retirees also benefited from the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024 and consequential adjustments. The 32,000 naira is the baseline every retiree in the education and health sectors, as well as security and armed forces on the CPS, will earn, not minding his or her accumulated savings. President Tinubu had on August 6 directed the prompt implementation of long overdue pension increases and a minimum pension guarantee, which will provide a safety net for the most vulnerable pensioners in the scheme. An official of the National Pension Commission confirmed that with the National Assembly's recent concurrence with the President's directive, the bond proceeds will soon be available to settle the retirees. PENCOM's Director General Omola Olariwaran had earlier explained how the 758 billion naira bond for pension payments will be allocated across 3 critical categories.
And let's have a short break. We'll be back. We're glad to have you back on the news. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter, has condemned the alleged assault on his Okrika Task Force Supervisor on Anti-Vandalism, Mr. Ibinabo Igbokere. Addressing journalists over the weekend, Igbokere alleged that he was brutally attacked and injured by suspected pipeline vandals in Green Ame Community or Okrika local government area. The reports.
Mr. Igbokere explained that the incident occurred after a sting operation carried out by the Ipman Task Force in collaboration with operatives of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. According to him, the joint team had earlier stormed the NNPC Okarijeti, where suspected vandals were operating, and recovered about 25 stolen pipes. Igbokere claimed the recovery prompted the vandals to launch the attack on him days later. The chairman of Ipman in Rivers State, Tekena Ikpaki, condemned the assault, describing it as atrocious. Ikpaki called for stronger collaboration with security agencies and relevant stakeholders, particularly Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, to intensify the fight against pipeline vandalism in the area.
And from the foreign scene, the main rebel group in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the M23, has walked away from peace talks with the government, saying it will not return unless the authorities adhere to a previous ceasefire deal. Fighting between the two sides escalated in January when the M23 captured large parts of the mineral-rich east, including the regional capital, Goma. The details.
In Qatar last month, the rebels and the government signed a ceasefire agreement intended as a step towards a permanent peace deal. But on Monday, as negotiations were set to resume, the M23 said its representatives were not present in Qatar. M23 spokesperson Lawrence Kanyuka told newsmen that the Congolese government doesn't want peace. He accused the authorities of not respecting the provisions contained in the ceasefire deal, but DR Congo's military denied the change. Kanyuka alleged that government forces had continued to attack rebel positions despite the agreement stating that both sides must refrain from assault.
And report from Pakistan says rain on Monday halted search and rescue operations in northern Pakistan after flash flood killed nearly 350 people, with around 200 still missing. Officials say torrential rains across the country since last Thursday have caused flooding, rising waters, and landslides that have swept away villages and left many residents trapped in the rubble.
Most of the deaths, more than 320, were reported in northwest Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, according to a provisional disaster agency, which warned of new flash floods till Thursday. Volunteers had been assisting hundreds of rescue workers in their race against time to find possible survivors and retrieve bodies as fresh rains started lashing the province. A volunteer in the risk-hit Bona district, Naisa Ahmed said 12 villages have been completely wiped out and 219 bodies recovered, while dozens of bodies are still buried under the mud and rocks which can only be recovered with heavy machinery. Local authorities said about 200 people are still missing.
And that's much we have for you tonight, but before we go, let's look at the recap. Governor Francis Nweforo has called on Federal Minister of Information and Orientation to diligently work towards controlling handlers of social media on publication of fake news